What's up, AfterBuzzers? This is us time. This is part one of two-part episode. We had a lot of stuff going down.
Yes.
We cried. We got to relive Vietnam. We got to see Jack and Nikki reunited and the Big Three's road trip, so you won't want to miss a beat, so stay tuned.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hit the road, Jack.
And don't you come back no more.
Actually, no, we want Jack to come back. Yeah, I mean that blinker moment. Ooh.
I know.
We were all so happy with this song.
Yeah, we're like, yes, this is great. This is very applicable. And then you're kind of like,
But the
oh
message
no.
behind it though, it's a little, yeah.
Ooh, that really hurt. That
Hit
really
the
hit
road,
home.
literally.
Yeah.
You get it.
I'm
You
gonna
get
let
it.
Harris go with
I've
it right
never
there.
seen.
What's up, everyone? This Is Us is back, and we had a two-part episode starting tonight. We're going to be off next week, and then we're going to have part two the following week after Super Bowl.
Yes.
But we had a lot of stuff go down in this episode. I know I keep hitting the table. We've already announced that. I'm very
Oh my god.
emotional about this episode, okay? Just... yeah, there's a lot that happened, okay? Vietnam, like, we really went in the depths of it.
Yes.
And found out a lot of questions that we've been having about Nikki and about Jack and how he's still alive. So we're going to talk all about that. My name is Candice Cruz, and I got the whole panel here for 2019.
Yes.
We in
This
here.
is us.
We in it. This is us.
This is
It's
us.
a beautiful crew here. Hey, my beautiful people. I'm your boy, Danny Royce.
Hey everyone, happy 2019. I'm Lina Noory and I love you guys.
Hey guys, I'm Parris Rose.
Woo, guys,
right.
we're gonna like not
some
even detour all of this. We're just gonna jump right in. I want overall thoughts for everything, and then we'll just go right into Vietnam because there's a lot to cover.
Right.
Overall thoughts, anybody?
Randall.
In the words of Randall, yeah, that's how this episode was for me. But I loved it. I was on the edge of my seat. There was some heartbreaking moments. There was some fun moments. Yeah, it was good. It was definitely good. I'm looking forward to part two. Don't know if they could have squeezed it all in one, but we'll see.
I agree. I think we learned so much this episode. And kind of a big question I've always been asking myself is, what ended up happening between Jack and Nikki for him to basically forego that relationship, turn his back on him? Because as we've seen all season, he will not stop. He will not let go. He really wants to push his brother through whatever he's going through. So we obviously found out what it was. And then obviously we'll get into that later. But I feel like that was kind of like just a big cloud, is what happened that made Jack want to turn his back on his brother.
Right.
Well, I appreciated Randall's comedic relief for this episode because
Yes.
really without him it would have been really serious.
Yeah.
He's like that emoji.
Exactly. With the fire. Or anyways.
The cloud.
Exactly, the explosion cloud. Also, I really like the change of roles for the Pearson gang because like Kate was the strong one, Keven was the emotional one, Randall was the funny one this episode. I feel like they were all different.
Kevin was the loving one?
Yeah.
What is going on with Kevin?
was very
He's
loving.
very loving, like we're not, and I really appreciate him saying, at the end that, he's not gonna redo his father's mistake. He's gonna go find his uncle again and stick with him this time, go to Bradford and not Pittsburgh.
Right.
So I really like that.
Yeah, I loved so much all of what you just said, but I really loved the storytelling of this episode.
Yeah.
The way that they had the flashbacks, like it was so fluid, like the blinker, even like the little bitty moments of like the blinker turning left and then he changes his mind to right. Even when they're doing the B-roll and the talking of, your dad was very black and white. And then we realized that he actually wasn't. He just came off that way.
Yeah.
That the decisions that he made could have been misconstrued as black and white, but it didn't mean that he didn't care for his brother.
Or the scenes. I mean, I'm like versed in filming, but remember when Jack goes to visit his brother with the postcards? He's like walking in, and then it shows like
The
Kevin, Randall, and Kate walking in. And then it's a scene where Nikki's like, "Are you coming in?"
Yeah.
And it's really Jack walking in, but it's his older voice asking the other ones. So I kind of liked it. It's watching his children take a step in his shoes.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's so important because he's kind of just been this like ghost of Christmas past, whatever you want to call it. Like he's kind of just been over everybody's head. And my favorite part obviously was Nikki being like, "God, you're definitely Jack's kid."
Yeah. It was great. It was a great moment. He's like, "Yep, that's them." Well, I mean, let's just jump right into the reason why Jack completely disowned his brother, because that was a tailwind. Is that the right word? Whirlwind? A tailspin? I don't know. It was a surprising element last episode when we found out that there was a card that had the Clark Kent. Because up until then, we didn't know whether Nikki was actually alive,
Right.
if he was dead, and that he actually didn't die in the war. We didn't know really anything. So this is the first time we were really getting a glimpse of it. And they did such a good job in previous episodes of watching Jack run after the explosion. That's all we knew. There was an explosion and Jack running. And now we got to put all the puzzle pieces together.
Yes. Yeah.
That
was
like,
hard.
It was. I was
hard to
so
watch.
on edge watching that entire thing because we had already seen the clip of Nikki sitting in the boat and like doing the
Right.
Yeah.
to everyone, and even the kids, and his conversation with Jack about what had happened to his superior previously, how he didn't trust anyone regardless of them being an adult or a kid. So to see the little boy come over and like get the chocolate, I thought it was going to happen then and there. I just
Yeah.
kept like leading up. I was like, they're going to do something. Like something's going to happen. Something's going to happen.
I don't know. I had a lot of hope for Nikki. I thought maybe he would turn around, which he
He
kind of
did. I mean,
did.
it
He
was-
did pretty much.
He was
But I
negligent,
mean,
but yeah, it was an accident.
yeah, it was his negligence for sure. But I definitely understood Jack's point of view because like the last thing he saw was just Nikki pointing the gun and like telling him the story and not having really respect for anybody. So he he saw what he did and he just took it as it was, but he was literally dead to his brother at that point. I think the hardest part for Jack was just running away and trying to not turn back in that past. You know what I mean? Like just because we had mentioned him, living this new life and leaving his old life behind, and it's just not healthy. You have to you have to confront, your past, the ghosts within. And so that struggle was very interesting to see this episode. I really enjoyed it, like the struggle between him and Nikki, just the trust there.
Yeah, okay. So I think I like both you guys are saying. I think Jack's reasoning for turning his back on Nikki was definitely valid.
Right.
Because I mean, the last thing you saw was that Nikki has no regard for anyone. I just really, my heart aches for Nikki because
Yes.
he actually was turning around. His mind was opening with this little boy, and it was an accident, and he never got to explain that it was an accident. It hurts because, like Keven was saying, 40 years by yourself. Like I don't think he deserved that. So
Right.
especially for something that wasn't even his fault.
Right.
So I feel bad.
I go both ways. I'm more so sad that when they met up later on down the line, when they were in the trailer together, he didn't have the chance, or Jack didn't let him explain.
Yeah.
I still do think, even though it was an accident, it was his negligence. I mean, who the hell pulls grenades with a child
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
in a boat?
Yeah.
So I feel like even if Jack had heard the full story, maybe he wouldn't have been as harsh about cutting him out completely. But I still feel like Jack, at some point, to some degree, had just given up, because it's like, what part of your brain? I understand that he wasn't even doing it to kind of play with fire. He really was trying to kill the fish and show the kid like a creative thing. But is that not like a logical thing? He even had I kept thinking that every time he was turning around to paddle, the kid was going to go in and reach for it
that's what I was
himself.
thinking too.
So regardless, he's completely negligent. And then the kid wasn't that far. He could have literally jumped, grabbed the kid, and jumped in the water. So there's so many different things
That could have happened.
I understand the intent's really important, and that was not his intention. He wasn't trying to kill the kid, because I know you thought he was trying to kill him with the chocolate. I saw your face.
Listen, the entire time it just felt like so ominous.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the word. Like it just, the way that they set up everything. I know that was intentional for
Of course.
them to lead that into the audience, but every moment for him to do that. But what I loved is that they left me on that edge, but I did see it soften Nikki of like that little, like putting the glasses on and the laughing.
Yeah, that
But
was such a nice
it
moment.
was also very layered and lined with like that laughing and but really like, I'm just gonna lure you in, but I'm gonna play with you.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it still had that tone to it, which I appreciate.
That
It
is
was
so
horrible.
creepy.
I know, but it's horrible. But I think it was a great job by the film, the director and the actor
Yeah.
to be able to have that underlying tone that you can read both ways. Because I mean, let's put it this way: Nikki was a drug addict.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, let's call a spade a spade. He was a drug addict. We don't know if he was high at the time.
Probably was.
He was unstable. He had come from an abusive family. He got drafted into the war. He literally said, I'm the unluckiest person. He had a horrible past. So this guy had the cards stacked against him from the get-go. And then to get to this point, like, what is Jack supposed to think?
Right.
You know, and even if you would have said it was an accident, I don't think that would have been the time. I think the time to say it was an accident was in the trailer.
I just don't get it because he had sent, what, like 20, 30 postcards? Just
say it's an accident.
Yeah.
Just say, yeah.
Right.
Like, why?
It's a
like-
postcard.
But then think about it. It's still Nikki though. It's still like he still has this younger brother mentality.
Pride.
He's not really as mature as Jack is. So the way he wanted to tell him was like face to face, like kind of get him to believe what I'm saying, you know. And I think as
And he
of
would have,
writing it
because he
down
wouldn't have
was
showed
not-
up.
What's that?
I feel like he wouldn't have showed up. Like, he already said his piece outside the trailer, like, stop contacting my family. Like, Jack, I feel like, was taking the step to reach out.
Right.
I know he was like, this is the last time you're going to see me. But then he, like, shows him a picture.
He wanted an answer.
It's like-
He wanted an
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah.
He was seeking an answer. And also it's like you think about it, it's like Nikki never came to Jack, you know, and there's a reason for that. And he was keeping his distance, so to speak. But
He's
he also
respectful.
being respectful, but he also wanted, I think this whole time just wanted to tell him what really happened.
Yeah.
And that just like eats you. That's crazy.
It just that I mean, I kind of want to talk a little bit more about the Vietnam thing just for a second, because that moment with that mom was the most devastating thing I've ever it was just heart-wrenching. And we already came to love the mother and the son because of Jack saving his foot, because he'd gotten the barbed wire. Like, they'd become fond of this family and gain their trust. And then for Nikki to even recount that and saying, I don't want those to be the last things that I see in the
Right.
last moments of my life.
What was his quote? He said that every time a mother lost a child in Vietnam,
They just
Their
drop-
body
he goes,
just
they would
crumpled.
drop and, like, their bones would just...
Turn
just
inside
take
them.
out,
Yeah.
turn inside them. But and he mentioned that about the Vietnamese mothers, but I'm like, that would be
think it's
anybody.
anybody.
Yeah,
Like,
I
I'm like,
thought
that's
so
just
too.
any mother,
Anybody.
just or anyone, you know, just losing your child like that. That's just.
I think he meant it because in Vietnam it just kept happening.
kept-
So it's
yeah,
like
of
it was a
course.
thing that they would see.
Right.
A lot. And the last
what
bit
people
I
want.
did think that was very significant was when they were taking Nikki and putting him in the chopper, that Jack did not look once.
Yeah.
His back was to
He
him.
was already done
He
with
was
him.
done.
I mean, he thought he murdered a young
Right.
boy.
And
It was
I
a
mean,
boy,
I would be
so,
done too.
I would've
Yeah.
done too. Yeah, exactly.
Kind of disgusted.
Can you blame him?
Yeah.
And he feels responsible. He's like, I brought him here. I had him transferred. Like, this kid would be alive still if it wasn't for the fact that I brought my brother here.
Right.
And if he wouldn't have even enlisted.
Well, what about, maybe Jack just shouldn't have come. He shouldn't
Yeah.
have. It could have been the worst thing to have happened to both of them. The relationship to that young boy.
Yeah.
Isn't that what he said in the beginning, Nikki? He's like, he should have just never
Should've
come.
just-
Yeah,
shouldn't
and
have
that's
left
why
me.
he
Should've
shouldn't
left
have come, because he would have had a relationship with his brother. I think Nikki would have survived on his own, probably would have turned to drugs, but then probably would have got sent away anyways because of
Yeah.
his drug
Yeah.
addiction. So there wasn't a need for Jack to actually go.
And I mean, this was like in history, this was one of the hardest
Oh, yeah.
wars
Oh, yeah.
for men to come back from. Like, the PTSD was unreal, especially with the type of war it was, being in the
Right.
jungle and like completely
Guerrilla
like mass
warfare.
chaos.
Right.
It was just, and I can only imagine what he went through. And going into that trailer conversation, like, to live like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were in Jack's position and you drove up to this trailer, 20 years have passed. No, more than that.
Yeah, that was more than that, right?
No.
No,
But it
this was
doesn't.
20 years.
It doesn't
20.
matter. This guy's responsible for a child dying, and you live in a house with 3 children. He's probably thinking, this guy's so
Right.
negligent. If I bring him in my house or around my kids, like, what is he gonna do around my kids?
Well, maybe you shouldn't bring him around his kids, but like at least like help him out a little bit or give him
Yeah, you
some
see how
like.
he's living,
Yeah,
like,
he left.
He's
her.
still your
I mean, at that
brother.
point, Jack was like, you know, you made your bed, sleep in it. You know,
Oh.
and over and over again, he's just. How many times can you actually reach out and help someone? You know, without.
It's his
And-
brother.
See, okay,
is
I
blood.
would still help out my sibling too, but he's thinking like, this guy's sending me postcards already
Right.
from like a distance. If I open that door and bring him or help him, even if I'm like, stay away from my kids, he's not gonna stay away from the kids.
Yeah.
It's like putting a foot forward, then he's gonna put 3 steps forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see
And
that.
I think he was trying. That's why I think he actually spent the time to show him the photo. Mm-hmm. And I was like, say it.
Yeah.
Just
All you
say
have
it.
to do is just say it. Just blurt
Like,
it
just
out.
even when he was stopping him, just blurt it. It
Right.
was an accident. Just
It was
Yeah.
killing me. That's what I was thinking too. Say it out loud. Just say it, even though he's saying stop. Just say it.
And then I thought it was
important.
very interesting when Nikki kind of the confrontation, he kind of got a little in his feelings, about the whole house thing, because we saw the little clip of when they were younger, how Nikki was gonna have his house, 2 houses and a boat and all that, and he was like, "Oh, nice. You have a nice house, and here I am." So we saw him starting to pick up after a little bit, and then that's when he just cut it out. And I think at that point Jack was going to take it a bit further and kind of like talk to him, but at that Nick just was completely shut off.
I know.
Yeah, it was just like they were battling back and forth. It was like a tennis match. It was sad.
Lots of ego, guys. Your ego's not your amigo.
And sorry, but
it's not your ego's not your amigo.
She brings it up. She brings it up. Why didn't she ask more questions? Why didn't she ask more questions? I get it. It's fresh. You know that it hurts him to talk about it. But years pass, you still don't ask him anything about his past. It bothers me.
But look what he did. Like even when she just said anything, I'm gonna go take a shower. It's like, how do you?
That was still fresh, kind of.
True, but it's like he always like kind of deterred from it, and it's like as I don't know, as a female, what do you if you come to your husband about something, he constantly, goes away from it, would you continue to do it?
I would avert the conversation because I hate confrontation. Right. So if he kept doing that, I'd be like, okay, got you.
I definitely may be stretching with this, but if you remember season 1 or 2, they do flashbacks of like Rebecca and her mom's relationship. And her mom was that like woman that wouldn't let something go, that would like nitpick and ask more questions. And I feel like Rebecca always wanted to kind of pull away from not being her mom. So I always noticed in the dynamics with Jack, I think she kind of like respected the boundaries. Right. And maybe that's why she didn't ask.
And also it was a different time too.
Yeah.
I think we're very much more like embracing conversations and being communicative now versus like in the 90s. And these people were raised in the 60s and 70s. Right. That's not something that you see in a couple. Is like they had more of a conversation, Rebecca and Jack, than most couples did.
True.
And
no one really talked about Vietnam at all.
No.
I mean, my uncle never talked about it. And once
my grandpa never did either.
It's just kind of like one of those things you don't really bring up. But like I said before, I mean, if you don't confront your past and your inner demons, then it's going to come out some way, in some shape or form, against your family, against your children when you're gone. And we see that now. So
listen, their timeline though.
Okay, you wanted to say that.
She's looking at me like, what?
The 70-year-old.
The 70.
Say your thought, and then I'll tell you my timeline thing.
No, I was just going to say it's interesting how it's actually affecting Rebecca and how, why am I blanking? Miguel's going to deal with it because she's thinking exactly what you said.
Right.
Remember at the end, she's like, I need to get down to the truth.
I need to get answers.
And I wonder like what kind of a can of worm it's going to go up, come out for her. Maybe she thinks things could have been different. So it was interesting because Kate said that in the beginning of the episode, like, this is really affecting Mom. So I think it's going to be interesting to kind of see more of the dynamics of how Miguel's going to handle that. Because he's been pretty, I know for season 1 and 2 we didn't really like Miguel. Right. But he's been pretty damn understanding. Because this guy's name, Jack, comes up 24/7.
Oh, yeah, all the time.
And he's so understanding about it.
What do you expect? You're with your best friend's wife. So
Remember, he even said, he goes, you and the kids were everything. And she's like, what was your exact words?
She was like, something, I used to love that answer.
Yeah.
But now I want the truth.
Now I want the truth, yeah.
Oof. But my timeline, though, I'm sorry. Wait a second here. If someone could correct me in the comments, let me know. Because I know a couple episodes ago, not even a couple, it's been a minute, when they were showing the draft of Vietnam, they say Nikki's birthday. Date. I know it was October 18th because it's my dad's birthday. That's the only reason why I remember that.
I'm like,
but the year I don't remember. And then I think like they said, Randall said he would be 70 right now, right? So they're 36.
Yeah, why does he not even look that old?
But that's okay. That too. But like, listen, that means if they were 36, then that means that Nikki was 34 when they were born, and Jack was 5 years older than Nikki. Jack was not 39 when those kids were born.
Yeah.
So the math is a little skewed.
You know
here.
what? We're gonna petition this. We're gonna.
I need to figure it out. It bothers me.
Bothers
and you know what else bothers me is that. I just can't. The numbers. I just can't do it. Like, I really want consistency. I really want it to just be right.
So writers,
and you know what's right is AfterBuzz and all their after shows that they have here.
I promise you, I promise you, the harder you hit the table, the answer will not change.
All right, guys.
I like this table, okay?
It's my turn. Anyways.
Oh, jeez.
Like Candice was saying, AfterBuzz is great.
You really like that segue.
And
Great segue.
it was an amazing segue. Could you guys tell she was trying to?
It's very, very smooth.
We're still not there yet.
Still not there. I can't even
Tell us about
read this.
AfterBuzz, Parris.
All right, guys. Before we move into our next topic, we just wanted to say thank you for making us the ESPN of TV talk. For us to continue to grow, we need your help. We need your help. So if you're on YouTube right now, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. Hit that thumbs up button.
Thumbs up.
Check.
And if you're on iTunes, please give us a 5-star rating because we are dynamite.
5 stars.
5-star. But no matter where you are, leave us a comment so you can get involved in the conversation. We love to read your comments. I know I especially do. And you guys be writing some novels sometimes. I read them all.
Y'all are devoted fans.
Very devoted.
Yes.
So being a part of the AfterBuzz TV has meant so much to all of us, and we truly appreciate you supporting us and doing what we love. Don't forget to tell your friends and keep enjoying our shows.
Yes.
Actually,
Thank you.
the comments are amazing. They
Yeah.
actually have some
Very
well thought out
Oh, yeah.
pieces that we don't even come across, or like they'll touch up on something we said and like go into depth. And I love when you guys correct us too, because sometimes I don't know the answer and I'm like, wait, what was the answer?
So correct
what
me
was
on my
that?
math because the man can't be. Can he be 7? Their math is off here. Something's wrong. Just
She's
saying.
declaring it.
I'm
Candice is declaring it.
Well, these big 3, I really like what you said in the opening when we were talking about our overall thoughts of like them all switching
Oh, yeah.
their personality types.
Yeah.
And it's really nice to see the 3 of them, like siblings in general, when they bond together over something, whether it's traumatic, whether it's something that they're determined to do. I really loved watching the bond of the 3 of them on a road
Yeah.
trip.
That was awesome.
Because we thought Randall was going to bring somebody home again, but it was actually Kevin.
It was
this
actually
time.
Kevin.
Yeah.
I like the
The
apricots
snack-
though.
The snacks, yeah, that
I
was.
got nuts, I got seeds, I got dried pitted fruits.
I feel like that's Danny.
That would be me. That would be totally me.
With the healthy
Who would
snacks.
I be in here? If we're in the road trip, who are we?
You might be the peer.
I'm definitely
I'm
the
The
candy.
pier.
Kate.
He's got to pee every time.
Oh, the pier. I was like, the pier.
I'm like, what?
Like, I'm going to the pier?
Sorry.
You said,
Kate.
what would you be?
I'd be the one bringing the candy, but that wasn't even on the episode.
So you're Randall on
You're-
Halloween.
I am Randall
Yeah.
on Halloween.
The king
I'm
size.
Kate. I have to go to the bathroom
Well,
every
who's
10
Kevin?
minutes.
Maybe I'm Kevin.
Maybe you're Kevin.
You-
I think
Kevin.
I'm Kevin.
Randall
Yeah.
was so collected in that whole scene.
He was, because I mean,
Yeah.
he went through his already. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Already alluded to that.
He went through his hardships about finding his father, and like it's just kind of like, oh, okay, you know.
I didn't like that, by the way.
What's that?
I feel like Randall going through his hardship with his father
Mm-hmm.
made him be like, well, Nikki's not that big of a deal. But it's supposed to still be equally as important. This is his uncle.
Right.
And I know it's not supposed to be about who is his biological uncle or not, but Randall made it that way this episode. It
I
was
think
like, that's their thing, their uncle.
I think it's maybe a little bit different in the sense of like we thought this man was dead.
Right.
There's already a disattachment and disillusionment about Nikki.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's less of a reality versus like for Randall with his dad, it's like a very much a reality and a person that he's been dreaming about for forever.
yeah,
that like
exactly.
that type of like you put it up on a pedestal up here versus Nikki we already thought was gone. So what pedestal do you have to live up to?
Right.
And I think Randall also wanted to give this to Kevin. I mean, he
Yes.
was the one that picked up and traveled around the world.
Yeah.
Even Kate was like, I don't even want to be here. I still don't want to be here. But he just picked up, traveled all around the world to have this like bonding experience. And I think for Kate, she knows it's because a part of Kevin always felt guilty and had that regret about his last conversation with his dad before the fire.
And
So
that
I
he
think-
wasn't there.
Yeah, I think they like wanted to give this to Kevin. Like, Kevin, this is your thing. You're gonna figure it out. I'm actually excited to see. Well, this is not a prediction, but I want to see the interaction between Rebecca and Nikki
Yeah. Oh,
That'd
yeah. I
be
can't
good.
wait to see that.
because
Next
they talk
episode.
about how
Yeah.
there was 2 different Jacks. So I want to see the new Jack that let everything go with Rebecca, and I want to hear Nikki's version of Jack, and I want to hear them talk about it.
Yeah, that's going to be great. Yeah, I think at that point it was just more of a support thing. Randall and Kate going for Nick. For Kevin, I'm sorry. Just more of like a support thing, like you said. They gave it to Kevin.
And he's been a jokester this episode,
Right.
like with Beth about her getting the
yeah.
job.
I was
But-
also surprised by Kate's response too, only because she holds on to Jack so much. I know she just recently let him go, but this is another part of Jack, having his brother. I thought she'd be way more excited to meet him and to have a little piece of her father who's still alive, but no.
She's pregnant and hormonal.
She's pregnant.
Yeah,
she
she's
has
like,
her baby. Randall has his family. He met his biological father. He's like, They're all like, yeah, Keven, that's you. That's only you.
Well, I'm excited to talk about the tearjerker moments in a few minutes and the predictions because there's a lot going into next episode. For the first half of this episode, I was like, I feel like they could have fit it all into one. And then the way that they trailed it off, I was like,
no.
I get why it's a two-parter.
Yeah.
But it was a little bit slow paced.
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
They were
Even up until
building
the
us
end.
up.
They built it up until, like, Vietnam when the little boy passed.
Yeah.
But I do want to shout out
yeah.
to All About the Sun. They say the kids are 38 now. Jack was 36 when they were born. So if he was still alive, he'd be 74. So Nikki is 70. That's correct.
Oh.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the math.
He
I was
doesn't
literally
look
sitting there
70
like,
though. in the
70
episode.
looks better and better every
Right.
time. Every year.
Every year.
You know?
And
Like,
he's not like a 70
that-
that like takes care of himself. He's like a 70 living in like the wilderness. He
but
should
that's,
look like he's
that
older.
means Rebecca's looking real good for 74, though. Yes, Rebecca.
Yes, I'm like, go ahead.
Did you guys see her 10-year challenge, by the way?
Yes.
That shit was hilarious.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Her
Mandy
10-year
Moore?
was like 10
No, I didn't
years
see it.
ago. Like a picture of her when she was
Rebecca, young Rebecca.
Well, no,
No.
like really
Oh.
Mandy Moore.
Mandy
Young
Moore.
Mandy
Really
Moore.
young Mandy
like
Moore.
really Mandy Moore. Maybe circa. No, it's not even that far.
I think
back.
it was.
Was she
What's
I
blonde?
think it
that
was
hit?
10 years ago.
What's that hit she came out with? That was probably
I was
that
gonna-
time, right?
Candy?
Candy,
This-
Miss Craven for you.
That was like
Well,
more
yeah.
than 15 years
So,
ago.
so
Yeah.
she put that, and then for today, she put her playing Rebecca, but like the mom Rebecca. So like that was the selfie.
Yeah,
I was like, that's like a
That's a
60-year
great,
challenge.
yeah. That's
Yeah,
like
that was
you
really
won.
funny.
You won on that one.
All right.
But I kind of mentioned it earlier where they were doing a lot of the shots, and you even talked about it with like seeing Keven and the big three walking through the door.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
And that, but I even like that they went back to where like Kevin's sitting on the couch and he's talking to his dad, and he said it's really hard to explain, but you can't relive and like make the same mistakes your father did, which never got explained to Keven as a child. It was kind of one of those things that like your parents say that sit with you, and you're like, I don't know what this means,
Yeah.
but maybe it'll make sense one day. And then to see him sit in the same parking lot that his dad did and switch the blinker
Yeah.
and switch the blinker to the left and in the right time.
Why is
Yeah,
Kevin driving?
That's crazy.
I think
Right.
they were switching up.
They
It's
were
a
switching
long
up.
drive.
Yeah, that's true. It was 6
Wait, why
hours,
not,
right?
though?
Or 4 hours, something like that.
It just didn't
Why
make
is
sense because
Wait,
isn't
doesn't
Randall
he
was
have a
driving?
DUI though too, Kevin?
Can he drive?
Yeah.
And it's
Why
Randall's
not?
car.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, he didn't lose his license, y'all.
But he had a DUI.
He should lose his
Yeah,
license.
but he got it
It's been
back.
like a year.
He did all of his stuff.
All right.
He did. But to see the gun there, just like,
I know.
Yeah.
I
was
said when he was knocking, they weren't answering. I was like, oh
I
my
think
god,
he
I
killed
think he killed
himself.
himself.
I thought so, too.
Because I kept seeing his response and his reaction to hearing his brother died, and I could feel like it was such a good acting job, like his kind of regret
Yeah.
that he just didn't tell him. And so when they were knocking, and then his head started moving, and I was like, okay, that's like a really weird suicide, but
Are you
he's
still
just
dying?
hanging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To
I
go
thought it
off
might have
of,
been pills. Sorry.
Oh yeah, pill. Yeah, but to go off of about what Jack said to Kevin on the couch, I just think dads don't say that. A lot of dads they just don't tell their sons that. Like don't make the same mistakes I did and all that. And I think it was an extremely important like conversation that should have transpired and he should have elaborated a little bit. Too bad he didn't get a chance to. But in that instant when they went back. And he didn't do what his father did. He saved his uncle's life. So, and I think if they didn't show up, he would have definitely followed through.
oh,
Yeah,
100%.
So,
100%.
So I thought that was great how the storytelling just kind of just led us there,
And it sucks because I think for Nikki, the idea that Jack was still alive was what was keeping him going.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
hope that one day he would get the courage to say something, or that he would die before he got the chance to
Right.
on his end, or that Jack would maybe magically come back.
Right.
Like I think the idea of Jack being alive was what was literally keeping that man alive. And the fact
true.
that he found out that his brother died 6 years after that conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm wondering? So
Oh.
when they first walked up and he turned around, he's like, who are you guys? Did he do the calculation? Because we didn't realize till after that scene that he was showing a photo.
Right, so he
and he even
knows.
brought up Randall and like how Randall found him and how like he's adopted. So I'm thinking like you see a boy, you see a girl,
I mean, it's been
and
21
you see
years.
Randall. Like if there was even like who'd be looking for you? And they knew his,
Yeah.
and they knew his name. Like wasn't he going by an alias too?
No, he put Clark Kent on
Yeah.
the postcard so that it was like a thing with his brother.
It was like the joke, like Superman thing.
It was just hilarious how Keven was like, this is he's adopted. And that's because he's black. And I'm like, oh,
That's
no.
why he's
But
black.
I love that Randall went.
Randall's like,
That's true.
That's also
That's
also
also
true.
true. But I mean, maybe. But like, it's been 28 years since you saw that photo. The
True.
first thing that comes into your mind is not like, oh my God, this is my brother's
Right,
kid.
right.
It
Well,
would have
there's
probably clicked
three
eventually.
random people looking for you. You live in a trailer in the middle of nowhere.
I don't know. It could be
Who
a
knows?
tax
It could be
collector in a
looking
nice
for him.
Mercedes pulling
Right.
up.
No,
I mean, who could
I'm
be
not
looking for
saying
him?
that he should have known. I'm just wondering if there was any kind of like a connection before they said it.
Maybe
It could
Possibly.
It could have been.
we should ask him.
Yeah.
Let's
Hey,
get
Nikki.
him on here.
Can you just like tell us what you were thinking in that moment? We're running short on time because I know that there was so much in this episode,
Yeah.
so I kind of want to get to our tearjerker moments
Tearjerkers.
and then our news.
Oh, okay.
We still need a theme song. If y'all could suggest a theme song for our tearjerker
I
moments.
thought we did it. The
Sarah-
Sarah
Sarah
McLachlan.
McLachlan.
Yeah, Sarah McLachlan, yeah.
In the arms.
You could,
Sarah,
that'll
no.
make anyone cry.
We did.
Put the dogs up on the screen.
No,
I know.
You
no.
guys are terrible. I'm very
I mean,
sensitive
I already
to
had a
animals.
hard time with this little boy.
I'm
Like,
thinking,
I
I'm
cannot
sorry.
deal with any more.
I know,
What
there's a
makes
lot.
you think you're going first? Like, I love how
Oh.
you just push a tissue box.
You know, Lina is like,
Let Lena go first.
Yeah.
She
I'm
missed
just
last
messing.
week.
go on.
ahead.
just messing.
This is your first week of 2019. Take it
ahead.
away, my dear.
No, because I'm going to say what everyone else is probably going to
Probably.
say.
Well, then
Wow.
that's more
I
reason
think I
to
have
do
a
it.
different one. Oh.
Oh.
Three.
Did I see tears?
Wow. I think I did see
Did you?
tears
Oh,
earlier.
okay.
Like a little watery eyes.
It was just an accident.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I wanted to tell him. It was just an accident. Because honestly, that the reason why that scene got to me, not to sound cliche, is, you know, we said it earlier about your ego not being your amigo, is like we spend so much time not saying things that we mean, not speaking the truth, not opening our hearts up to other people in fear of like what they might respond with, in fear that they might. Are you crying?
Yeah, it's
Are you crying?
In fear that they might not respond the way we want them to with expectations.
Right.
It's just proof to me that life is so short. No argument, no disagreement, nothing is worth not saying whatever it is that you want to say in that moment. Because look, now what you said 6 years after that,
His
finds
brother
out
died.
that his brother had passed away. Like he's probably thinking the last 20, 30, 40 years that my brother just didn't care about me and he didn't come back.
Right.
So then I think him hearing that is what I just got chills, is like what probably got him to the level of wanting to take his own life. Like I should have just said it.
That was definitely mine. So you did take it. That's okay. I'm also.
I told
gonna
you to
do-
go. I was just joking.
I know it's all right. It's all right. I had a bunch though. I'm gonna use 3, even though I didn't actually cry.
Oh, I did.
But I feel like normal people would cry for this. It's the mom's face, the devastation on her face when she realized it was her son. She realized pretty quickly that it was her son,
Oh, yeah.
and I just couldn't imagine. I just lost my grandma recently for regular, normal things, and I just couldn't imagine losing someone just instantly like that. Your kid was playing, and then it's okay, and then he's gone. So that just really took me. So those are my 3.
It was such a, and then they found like his flip flop upside down. on the
Yes.
water.
I know.
Like, why did
I
they have to
know.
show us that?
You-
I mean, so we know.
know why.
Yeah. No, I know why they did it. It's more of like a
Do they
rhetorical.
find his
Yeah.
body? Like, will his mom ever have answers? Will she ever know? She doesn't even know the language.
And she doesn't
Did
know
anyone
because nobody
explain
knew.
to her? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, all he could really say was, "I'm sorry."
Yeah.
Like
He didn't even get to do that.
Right.
They dragged him off.
that was terrible. Okay, well those are really great. Mine is going to be when
One.
yeah, because I didn't really cry. Okay, I'll do 2. I didn't. There were no water.
Also, remember the
sh-
spectrum is 1 to 5.
Okay, I
1
just
being like a
destroyed this one.
heartwarming, 5 being like a sob fest.
All right, so it was very heartwarming and a little teary-eyed. So I'm gonna do a 3. I got a little in my wells. Okay. It was when Nikki threw Jack out. Just seeing that and knowing that was gonna be their last time seeing each other and talking to each other. I'm the youngest of 4, and I can't imagine just finding out that one of my siblings died and me not knowing anything, who, what, when, where. So just seeing that separation from them over something that was so, like you said, just like your ego and just not communicating and just not living your true authentic self. So that got me. That's my point.
Y'all took all of mine. Like, I actually cried, so I need another one, but
Are we done?
there's more.
Life's so short,
I've
guys.
cried twice already with you all talking here. Like, I can't do it. How many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll do 4.
Okay, I was gonna say,
Because
I'll
listen, I could do 5, but I've had worse moments whenever Jack died, so I'll just give it a 4. But I reiterate all of what you guys said, but I think for me too, it was the moment that Jack, like, his back was turned to Nikki. And like that was like the moment of just like his face, and to see 2 completely brokenhearted people on like to drive themselves to either end, like to literally disown your brother and to say he's dead to me, for another one to end up wanting to commit suicide. And his words, correct me, I got another one. When he said, I hope that my last thoughts in this life are not of that woman crumpling. I can just like, to see people like that, that's like the worst like reaction. Like, it takes me back to when Rebecca found out about Jack. It takes me back to whenever anybody finds out when someone's passed. It's like your whole world falls apart. What do you do? And to see that in all of them and see so many moments of grief for everybody, this episode was just like a lot. I'm exhausted.
I just got really emotional.
I'm emotionally exhausted.
Right.
And this, I was literally saying earlier tonight, I was like, this season hasn't been as emotional as previous seasons.
Yep, you called it too early.
Dang it. Dang
It
it.
was even
Saving the best.
if you guys remembered, Nikki's responses every time he would hear about how Jack died, when he died, he's like,
Yeah.
even I was like, what?
Yeah.
You hear your brother died, and that's
But to process
Processing,
that,
Yeah.
like he's been dead for like almost 40, how many years? Not 98. So
98.
21 years.
Yeah.
But I actually assumed it hit him hard because of those kinds of
course.
responses. That's why immediately when they came back, even before he wasn't answering, I was like, I think he killed himself.
Yeah, same.
It hit him really hard.
Well, kudos to these actors that played Nikki, because all of them gave outstanding performances,
Yes, they did.
like unbelievable. We have a picture from Instagram that you actually found.
I did find Josh Einstein. He is the amazing, incredible casting director of This Is Us. He casted everyone you see, and that is all 3 Nickies.
Oh my God, Little
Right there.
and Middle look so much alike.
Right?
Right,
Don't they look
so
crazy?
good.
It was a great job casting.
Yeah.
They
Great
really
job.
did. At first, I was like, they did a great job on the older makeup.
Right.
But yeah, the actors' names are, I'm trying to pull them up for us. Michael Angarano, I got to meet him on a red carpet like about a couple months ago, and he literally transforms in every role I've ever seen him. Did you realize he was the guy from Sky High?
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
That's the lead of Sky High.
That's
that
him,
was like
yeah.
his first, like
I
one
see
of
him.
Gosh.
Yeah, that is him.
Yeah.
Grown up. To see like it's so crazy to me, because I went and looked him up whenever I was doing that red carpet, and I looked at everything he's done. I'm like, oh my gosh, he's done Almost Famous, Wild Card, Sky High, This Is Us, In a Relationship, Mom, Will and Grace, like, and everything he's done, he's a completely different person. Like, he's a chameleon.
Yeah.
And the older actor that played Nikki was just fantastic
Oh, yeah.
too. He
Oh, yeah.
carried over. Like, they played off
He
of
kind of
each
doesn't
other.
kind of remind you a little bit of Robin Williams.
A little bit.
Oh God, no! Don't do that to
Way
me.
to bring up another
Little
topic.
bit.
Why did you have to do that? His name
I don't see it.
is Griffin Dunn.
Griffin Dunn, right?
Griffin
Yes.
Dunn was the older
like a
gentleman
little
that
bit
played
like Robin
Nikki.
Williams.
And then I'm trying to find the little boy. Do we have little?
Little
Oh,
Nicky.
little Jack is actually Milo. How funny is that? The little Jack in
He's
this
also
episode,
Milo?
his name is Milo.
Wow.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. Yep. So, congratulations to all of y'all, because the performance was outstanding. Quick predictions before we have to run out of here.
AfterBuzz TV prediction.
Oh, now I start. This is the hardest one. You guys start. Go start over there.
Oh.
No. Okay. So my prediction is that we're really going to delve into Jack and Rebecca's relationship. We're going to delve into Nikki and Rebecca's relationship, and I'm really interested to see how much Nikki becomes inundated into the family, because we even had Tess say, they always bring someone home.
Yeah.
They brought home Deja. They brought home William. Are they going to be bringing home Nikki? Are they going to keep their distance? Is he not is he actually unstable and they can't bring him into the life? Is he going to be able to conform to their lifestyle? Is he going to give the answers that they want to hear? Is he going to misconstrue them and use them? There's just so many alternative answers that could happen. But I'm really excited for the next episode.
Yeah, I second that. He's a Pearson, so Pearsons always stick together one way, shape, or form. But I do think he's going to have a little trouble getting in the groove of things with the family. And then also, there are a lot of things that are going to be revealed that not everyone's going to like. It's interesting to see how that goes. And then also, I think we're going to see a little bit more of Beth and her interview, and then her mom's coming. So I'm looking forward to that whole thing. It's going to be a lot.
I actually feel like Nikki coming into the storyline, him and Keven are gonna bond, mainly because of the whole like addiction. And I think that Kevin's gonna actually end up helping Nikki go to like therapy or to one of those rehabilitation centers to clean him up, because as we know, we saw he was drinking, obviously had suicidal thoughts. So I feel like this is kind of gonna delve deeper into Keven growing into the person he's meant to be, which is, as we see, he's kind of transformed a lot more into his dad.
Yeah.
And so even by his actions, technically him turning around is the opposite of what Jack would do, but I feel like it's exactly what Jack would have done.
Oh, yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
And so I think that they're definitely going to bond over that aspect of it, and he's going to help him get clean, and then they're going to, like you said, Pearson stick together.
Well, okay, these are all great. I think there's gonna be trouble in paradise though for Keven and Zoe. I think Kevin's gonna be so invested in this Nikki situation that he's gonna forget about Zoe, and Zoe needs attention. So I think there could be trouble in paradise there, but also with Miguel and Rebecca.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna flip her life. You kind of gave me this hint though, but I feel like it's gonna flip her life around, and she's gonna be more invested in Jack, and Miguel's gonna be like, you know what, I'm tired of being second best. So
Yeah. He's like, I'm still here. Jack isn't.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
I'm
rough.
just excited to hear more about Beth.
Yeah,
That's all I can't wait to
Mid-season 3, we don't know that much.
yeah.
I know.
Her mother's coming. And I'm
All of
excited.
it's gonna be unfolding.
I feel like they don't have a good relationship. I don't know why.
No, I don't think so.
Not at all. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We are so excited about part 2. We hope you're excited as well. Make sure to comment, rate, and subscribe on this video, and let us know all of your thoughts for part 1 and your predictions for part 2. My name is Candice Cruz. You can find me on all my social media at Candice R. Cruz. And remember, we will not be back next week. It will be the following week after the Super Bowl. Shout out to the Rams.
Yeah.
Good luck, LA Rams. Let's go.
Woo! And I'm Danny Royce. You can find me everywhere at I am Danny Royce.
And I'm Lina Noory. You can find me Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram at Lina Noory. And I'm looking forward to your guys' comments.
Woo! Hey guys, I'm Parris Rose. You can find me everywhere at Parris Rose. Paris with 2 R's. That's it.
We'll see you guys next week. Or the next week after. Bye!
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.